switch to the Novice Chasers, shall we? We'll start at the minimum trip, and this should be a relatively quick one, or at least maybe it'll be a quick one. Maybe. Facile Vega, Racing Post Novice Chase. Last time this race is going to be run as a grade 1. Maybe the last time this race is run full stop, but it's no longer going to be a grade 1 anyway. Facile Vega is going to be a short price favorite. Who's going to ride him? Probably Patrick, because he's got all the record of successes on him in the champion bumper and the 3 grade 1 bumper wins, so it makes sense that he would be on board. 8-13 favorite is his current price. In the pocket, old rival of his, 9-2, Il Était Temps, 8-1, Mr. Policeman, much vaunted, 10s. Found to 50 is entered in here, but surely goes for the Faugheen instead. Katie Young, is he going to pass this test with flying colours?
Yeah, I think he looks the obvious choice for me here. I thought for his first start over Fences Navan didn't run to suit him at all. They went very slow and ended up in a sprint finish. I actually think he'll improve for a faster run race and actually he'll step up in grade. His jumping was a little bit novice-y, but look, it was his first start. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I thought he actually improved throughout the race with his jumping, and I do think there is room for improvement with him there. I think the go-in, the course, and distance are all positives for him. I think he's the highest rated over hurdles of all these rivals, and I think plenty of them followed him around last year. So, I think he has most of them beaten. So I don't think that is necessarily a problem for him there. I think this race is kind of his to lose based off his ratings and the fact that he looks as though he put a couple of disappointing races that he ran in last year behind him. I think he's going to improve massively off the back of his first run. And I loved what he did from the back of the last to the line. He put in the pocket to bed very, very easily. And he's no less a horse either. I do think there is positive vibes coming from the Henry de Bromhead camp from In the Pocket, and they seem quite bullish about him going forward for this race. So I'd be interested to see where he fares. But look, he couldn't match anywhere near Facile Vega on his hurdling form. He couldn't get near him. So I'd be very surprised if In the Pocket turned the tables with Facile Vega at this point. I actually think In the Pocket might want more of a trip. I think he's actually crying out for a trip. I think 2.5 would be much more up his alley. But look, I'd have to go with Facile Vega here. I think In the Pocket will be chasing him home, but I don't think he'd be that far behind him.
I have a funny feeling Facile Vega is going to be beaten in this race. George Gorman, What do you like?
Look, to take 1-2 about Facile Vega, I think you've got to be confident that the others have mountains to find with them. I'm just not sure he does. They do. Like he's the highest.
Georgie, fine.
Did
you read my talking points before this? Did you both read my notes before this?
I didn't know. No. But it's predictably I'm taking on Facile Vega, which caught me the wrong way sometimes. But I think he's much better than these over hurdles, but he's done very little wrong on his chasing debut. But he still needs to show he's improved for a fence, because the others aren't actually behind him. If you look at the RPRs of what would be the main contenders here on their chasing debuts, Facile Vega did a 155, Found a 50, did a 150, and then produced a 157 on his second start. Il Était Temps produced a mark of 153 on his first start over fences.
Don't you do it, George. Don't you do it. Don't you steal my work.
Proves he hasn't got much to find. He's made a good start to his chasing career. So he's rated 148 over hurdles. Facile Vega's rated 155. He's beaten him before.
Son. Say it.
Drying conditions are probably going to swing things in his favour. I'm with Il Était Temps.
Yeah! Let's go! This is why Patrick is riding Facile Vega. Not because Danny doesn't want to, because Danny's riding the winning horse.
Yeah. And his 3 career victories that come on yielding to soft, yielding and yielding. This is his ground. He's got loads of speed. He's got absolutely buckets of speed. And he's really not got that much to find over fences with Facile Vega. Like, I just think there's too much in between them on prices. They're priced up on their hurdling form. And we've seen them both run over fences. I just think there's too much in it. At 7-1, you can have a scumbag each way bet because there won't be enough runners for there to be 3 places. You could be looking at 2 places.
It's one thing. It's one thing to steal my work. To steal my quotes is. If there's any kids in the room, if you're watching this on your smart TV, just cover your ears for a second. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. This is a cracking bet. Yeah. I really think this is a cracking bet. Look, if there's a champion chaser in this field, it's Facile Vega. Yeah. It's not Elite Tom. He doesn't have the scope for it. But this is a novice chase, and he was really good first time up. That was a very nice performance. They're going to go here. They have to. The most likely scenario is that he finishes a nice second to this horse in the same way that he did last year over hurdles. But he doesn't have a whole lot to find at all. Basically, everything that George has just said, copy, paste, that's my argument. There's nothing in this between the two of them. Of course, Facile Vega has the much greater scope and much more potential to do better. But where else are they going to send Elite Tomp? They're going to send him here. And the champion chase market is all about Facile Vega. Sorry, champion chase market. We're getting ahead of ourselves. The Arkle market is all about Facile Vega and Marie Nationale. It's 1-2, and who else is going to be able to get involved? That's what the bookies are telling you. I don't think it's as simple as that. Something else is going to emerge. And it might very well be this guy. He upstaged him in the DRF. Now, the day he upstaged him in the DRF, Paul Town had lost his damn mind that day. So did JJ Slevin, to be honest. The two of them lost their minds. But still, this is a novice chase. Willie's had horses running this race that have been beaten before. Dovan won it, but Couture fell, didn't he? And there was another one as well. There was another one. Sam Crow was sent off a very short price favorite. All it takes is hitting one fence a little bit awkwardly, and he's in trouble. Ile de Tomp will probably, I'd say he'd be handy enough.
Yeah, probably.
Under Danny. Yeah, head out, ping every fence, make it pretty awkward for Facile Vega to catch him. 8-1 is a cracking scumbag each way account closer bet. You will never be able to bet with that betting company again, unless they're a fair, independent bookmaker that actually stands over the prices they offer and don't get offended when you have the audacity to win. This is a cracking bet. You can go and take the odds on Facile Vega if you want, but I would rather do the scumbag each way bet and go with Elite Top. This is a cracking bet. I love it. George Gorman Kennedy. And if you really wanted to piss off the bookies, reverse forecast in the pocket, Elite Tomp. Let's go! Right. Elite Tomp for George and I, in the pocket for Katie. Kauto Star Novices Chase, up to 3 miles, same day, Boxing Day, St. Stephen's Day. They're bringing over this French superstar, Ile Francais. I have no idea how good that horse is, but James Reevely comes over to ride. And if James Reevely was to ride the Stairs Hurdle horse, then we would be having a very different conversation in my mind, but I don't think he is. Giovinco, Stephen Mulqueen rides for Lucinda Russell, 9-4 with most bookmakers. Hermes Alain, an 11-4 shot. And Classical Dream, Grange Clare West, Imagine. Can't imagine, pardon the pun, Katie, that Imagine will go for this now with Jerry Kalam out. He's probably going to go to Limerick instead. But as you answer that question, tell us also who you like in this race.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they brought Imagine over, if they weren't bringing Jerry Kalam. I think they'll more than likely keep him in Ireland now. I thought it was kind of an interesting race to dissect. I thought now with Allaho kind of being, with being kind of a half confirmed runner for the King George, I thought they may well bring along Grange Clare West for same connections. It kind of makes sense to bring him over. Willie has his other horses kind of lined up for races over there, and he was kind of the one that maybe didn't kind of slot in anywhere. He's the only one of Willie's, I think, out of them Grade 1 contenders that has entered in this race. But I kind of like this horse. His form is working out well. received a good boost by Corbett's Cross, running out an easy winner of his beginner's chase at start December. I thought that was a very good race that he won. I think that's a very good form boost for this fella. My only doubt with him is that his 2 attempts at grade 1 level were a bit disappointing. But look, he hasn't been tried at 3 Mile Trip yet. I can't really see that being an issue for him. I thought he produced a really nice display over 2.5 at Naas that day. I think he'd definitely be on the short list for me. I don't know whether he's going, so I can't say that he is my pick, but he's definitely one to make a note of. I think Herms Allen on ratings is the obvious choice. He was pretty good on chasing debut, and I think he looks as though he'll probably be a better chasing than what he showed us over hurdles. I think they'll get better ground than expected at Kempton, so that will probably suit him quite well. He's probably about 4 weeks in between his first run in this race, so that should put him right. So he's definitely one that's high up there for me. I thought Giovinco, I thought he looked the winner everywhere in his race. At Sandown, I thought he travelled brilliant throughout. I just thought he came up against the strongest stayer on the day. I think they may ride him a bit differently and maybe not hold on to him for as long as possible and just go with one run. He's another one, though, that I just have that question mark over on that finish that he showed us. So I probably have to side with Herms Allen at the moment. But if Grange Clare West did show up, I think he'd be the one that I'd be picking out of this bunch.
Do you happen to remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about Hermes Allen and his novice chase? I was saying, yeah, he's probably just going to win a nice grade 1 between now and Cheltenham. But when the Irish come over, he'll get murdered. And now the Irish are coming over.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, Katie, is because I am Hippocrates. I am an absolute hypocrite. And I am more than prepared to turn on a dime and change my opinion like that. Flip-flop. Never mind Lydia Hislop calling herself Flip-flop on Twitter. I'm Flip-flop. Flip-flop Kennedy. Constantly changing my opinions. Hermes Allen wins this race and wins it easily. He's going to crush this field.
Even if Grange Clare turns up.
Oh, bring him over. In fact, Willie, bring over your backups too. Go on, bring over Classical Dream as well. Let him sail off in front there. Hermes Allen's going to murder him. I have this horse wrong. I just have him wrong. And when you're wrong about something, you have to hold your hands up and admit, I got him wrong. They sent this horse off, 9-4 favourite for the Ballymore? A sea of cash in the face of incredible confidence from the Mullins camp about Imperi Pass. Simon Munir telling anybody who listened to him, yeah, this horse is going to win. David Casey appearing on all the Cheltenham preview nights. This fella's a machine. And despite all of that, and being well backed himself on the day, Hermes Allen goes off favourite and just bombs out spectacularly. George was mentioning about the wind up the other day and how maybe the reason this fella wasn't actually seeing out the finish at Cheltenham and Aintree wasn't because he's a weak horse who doesn't really find a whole lot in the finish, and he's just one of these Nichols horses that is a bad crop. He'll win these soft races in England, but as soon as the Irish come over, he's in trouble. No, it probably was the wind up. Nichols has done a couple of things interesting this season. He threw Captain Teague into a conditions race on his hurdling debut. He threw this fella into a grade 2, a race that he won with Clan de Sobo in his novice chasing season. The difference was Clan de Sobo had already had a chasing run. This fellow was just thrown in with no experience and destroyed his opposition. And now he rocks up here, admittedly in place of Nappers Hill. But this is perfect. Nappers Hill wouldn't have won this. This guy will. Second run after a wind up. Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden round Kempton with a proper graded horse. This French fellow won't see. He may as well just stay at home. There's no point in coming up Reevely. It's a wasted journey for you. You're going to get crushed by Hermes Allen. I haven't been this confident about a novice chaser in quite some time, but I am very confident that Hermes Allen will win this race. George, follow that.
I can see the case for Hermes Allen, Matt, of course. of course, like he'll be the only horse here with graded form over fences because Imagine won't show up. And even so, Imagine had a run before he won his graded race, and he sort of fell in, whereas Hermes Lens absolutely destroyed them in his grade 2 on Chasing debut. Polyglot, his sire, tends to create horses with stamina. Don Poli, top-notch side of Burley. And say his second run after a wind-up, it could be further improvement, which is quite frightening. But if Classical Dream turns up here, he still has something to find with him, for me. He's won 6 races. The only thing for me, he's won 6 times since his Supreme victory, and he's winless from 3 trips away from Ireland since. That's slightly concerning that he's not been able to do it away from Ireland. But so he's made a flawless Chasing debut at 2 miles 6.5 and returned to a proper test of stamina. It might make him hard to beat just as he's more battle hardened. You got to remember this was won by an older, more experienced hurdler last year in Time Hill. Like it might just be one of those where it's.
Jeez, that race fell apart, mate.
It did, but you've got to think this is relatively early in the season still, and it might be one of those.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Some of the less experienced, some of the novice chasers are sort of vulnerable to a more experienced hurdler, like an older horse like him. It's really my opinion is going to depend on where Classical Dream goes. If Classical Dream goes here, I'm going to find it very difficult to pick between him and Hermes Alen, but I probably would slightly side with Hermes Alen just because I'm struggling to see why Classical Dream has seemed to struggle to travel. It's not just England; he's been beaten in France as well since then. My hope from that point of view would be that Grange Player West, he's slightly shorter for the Faugheen, and although I'd rather see him over 3 miles, maybe we'll get to see that later in the season. But
isn't he very short for the Nevilles as well? The 3 mile.
The Nevilles, sorry, not the Faugheen. Sorry, he's 12 to 1
yeah.
for the Faugheen. Yeah, sorry, the Nevilles. If he turns up there, I'll talk about him later, what I think about him. But working on the basis, Classical Dream shorter for this than he is his Irish targets, and Grange Player West is shorter over there than he is over here. I think Classical Dream will come here. I think it'll be very close, but I probably would just about go with Faugheen. Hermes Len. Jesus.
If Faugheen was to rock up to this race, he'd have a chance. But even Faugheen would fail against the might of Hermes Alen. There's nothing to worry about, lads. Just, this is real simple. We're getting 11-4. Gamble responsibly. We're getting 11-4 about Hermes Alen. Just put down your tenor and take back the winnings. Put it down, pick it up. Simple. Easy game. Really easy game. Don't complicate your mind. Very simple stuff. Hermes Alen wins. Put him in all your multiples, doubles, trebles, and then don't abuse me when he gets beaten. I'm super confident that this guy wins.
If you're looking at
Grange
their
Clare
RPRs,
West, Katie,
it is that simple. If you're looking at their RPRs, it really is that simple. Like he's miles clear of them.
Miles clear.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fan of Giovinco. I didn't even mention him. No point. No point. Wasting time is all that would be.
Did him no favours the last day. The loose horse, I think.
Yeah,
I think the
but
plan
even
was
so,
to have one
even
crack
so,
at Stairway Fay after the last, and it just.
Giovinco's a very, very nice horse, and he will win big races. He's not beating Hermes Alen. Certainly not around Kempton. If he turns up, Katie, Grange Clare West for you. If he doesn't, your alternative is?
Oh, Hermes Alen.
Let's go! Are you excited for the Christmas racing yet? Are you excited? Neville Hotels, Novice. Actually, let's go for the Faugheen. We better do the Faugheen. Gaelic Warrior. So most people will take the attitude, oh, this fella's just going to win. I'm taking him on. Katie Young, what do you think?
Yeah, look, he was very impressive on debut with the speed he showed. I was a bit maybe critical about his jumping. I don't know if he might tip up. I thought he was maybe a little bit enthusiastic at times. He galloped through one down the back, and he does have a tendency to jump right. However, Limerick is right-handed track, so he should be okay there. Look, I think he's a very, very good horse. he's plenty of ability, but I just do worry about his jumping in a better race, in a better graded race where he might not get his own way out in front. I just have that in the back of my mind. Would he make one too many mistakes? I'd like to see what he'd do again, where he wouldn't get the run out of it on front and just be cantering around on his own. I'd like to see what he'd actually do in a proper race amongst other horses. So that is in the back of my mind with him. The other horse that I like in that race is Corbett's Cross. I think they may go this race with him. Both starts this year have been over 2.5 and 2.5. I actually don't think there's any need for him to be stepping up to 3 mile just yet. I actually thought he looked like he had plenty of speed that he showed us in Fairy House. I thought his jumping was much slicker and he travelled a lot better on his second start at Fences. I thought that was a very strong race as well that he won. I think there was plenty of strength and depth and there'll be a lot of winners to come out at the back of that race. I think he won with more in hand than maybe his winning margin might have suggested. And I think there's more improvement to come from him. I think he's quite versatile in over ground and trip, anywhere between 2.5. I think he will stay 3 mile, but I'd be surprised if they'd step him up at the moment. I think this race would be made for him. He'll get a bit softer ground down in Limerick. And I think maybe Leopardstown might come up a bit quicker. But I think a strongly run race with Gaelic Warrior making the run and will play into his hands.
Yeah, I agree with you. If Corbett's Cross turns up here, and I hope he does, there's a really fancy horse in the Neville Hotel's Novice Chases, and I don't want to have to take him on there. I would be very happy to take on Gaelic Warrior with him. I'm taking Gaelic Warrior on with another horse, but if Corbett's Cross comes along, he would give me pause for concern massively. George?
So we're working under the assumption Founder 50 is going here, are we?
Oh, I hope so. Katie?
Yeah.
I'd say he would, yeah. I doubt he'd be stepping back 2 mile.
No.
They're not going to do that. Surely.
Yeah. This is the thing. I really want to take on Gaelic Warrior, and if it was over further, if the ground was soft on the day, even but I think it's going to dry out. If the ground was soft, if it was over further, if it was the other way round, I'd be on Founder 50 all day long. I just think there's too many chips in Gaelic Warrior's favour. I think he'd be opposable going left-handed. And I think the ground or trip, further or worse, could put it into Founder 50's hands. But
we're all agreed he's a complete take-on horse for Cheltenham. This idea that Gaelic Warrior is just a good thing for, he's not. He might win it, but my God, you're taking a massive risk if you're taking the short price he is now for the Turners.
I just think this is, especially if it dries out to sort of yielding, this is just tailor-made for him is the thing. The only thing I might do, looking through, there's a lot of these aren't running. Running. And
well, Fact to File won't go.
It might be worth yet another scumbag each way on Founder 50 because you might not get 3 places on the day.
Well, that was kind of one of the things I was thinking about this week. I'll let you finish your point before I rattle off of my meanderings here.
2 to 5 on. I can't back Gaelic Warrior, but I think he just wins. So that would be my approach. Would be to have a proper look through how many of these have alternate targets because there's at least like 8 or 9 of these aren't going to run. And if I think there's going to be less than 3 places on the day, I might see if I can take a bit of 7s. I'm seeing 7s here. Yeah, 7s all round each way on Founder 50.
My only concern with Gaelic Warrior is if Lucid Dreams turns up and challenges him for the running, because I think that will really scupper him there.
But will he be able to go with it?
Yes.
If he does what he did the last day?
Early he will, yeah. And I think it might just upset him a little bit early on because we know John Ryan's always make the run and he takes quite a keen hold in his races, Lucid Dreams. And I'd say instructions will be to try and make the run in as well. So that would be in the back of my mind that's what they will want to do with him as well. And I'd say
Gaelic Warrior will be probably wanting to be handy or make the run as well. So that might just, it could just set him alight, and it might just show the cracks in his jumping that I have doubts about. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
I think we're in agreement that he wins or falls.
Yeah, it's either one or the other.
If he gets round.
Here's the thing. Look, here's the thing. There's a thing in racing media, and I don't really understand when this came about or why, but horses are being talked about as though they're machines. Vauban was sent down to the Melbourne Cup, and you were being told he only had to go down and pick up the trophy. That's what it was. And now you're being told the same thing about this horse, Gaelic Warrior. Sure, doesn't matter that he jumps out to the right. He's going to win. And doesn't matter. Sure, this race, sure, he's handy. Same with Facile Vega as well. These are grade 1 contests with serious strength and depth. And if you look at the time form ratings, Founder 50 is rated 165, Gaelic Warrior is 163p. There's no P for Founder 50. They think that's as good as he is. Gaelic Warrior has an RPR of 160, Founder 50 is 159. There is very little between these horses. And he's absolutely the most exciting horse in the race. Absolutely, he could be next year's King George winner. He might go and win this by 15 lengths. I have no interest in taking 9-4 on about this fella, and I have no fear of taking him on either. And the horse that is blindingly obvious to take him on with the exception of Corbett's Cross, is Founder 50. He went into the Drinmore and he gets beaten by an Irish Grand National winner. And yeah, people are a bit skeptical about that, and there's a raised eyebrow, and what the hell was Ian Maximus even doing in that race? No criticism of JP, Frankie Tightlips, or Willie Mullins. That's a HRI issue. What the hell is an Irish Grand National winner being allowed to run in a Grade 1 novice chase? But I thought Founder 50 came out of that with a massively enhanced reputation. He had run in Down Royal in the beginner's chase that Gordon targets with all of his good novice chasers. And it's not really a full race. The last two fences are omitted. He hasn't learned the lesson of coming down to a final fence at speed with a race to be won, steadying himself and jumping it. And that's what he then has to do against Ian Maximus, and makes a mistake. Now, he probably loses anyway, because, George, you're the only person I've heard make the point, and you were there, that the ground was so bad that it turned it into a complete and utter stamina test. And so it wasn't really a 2 mile 5 Grade 1 novice chase. It was really more of a 3 mile plus novice chase, which is why Ian Maximus won it, which makes perfect sense. By the way, Ian Maximus could very well go and win the saddles. Who knows?
They literally finished in descending order of ideal trips. Like Ian Maximus, Founder 50, let's be clear about it, Sharjah. It's like 4 mile, 3 mile, 2.5, 2. It was simply stamina won the day.
So he sets a very high standard here coming into this race. And we know he can run to that level again. Now, he will have to improve, because if Gaelic Warrior is going to improve, then he just blows this field to pieces. But what if he doesn't? What if he hits a fence early on and makes a mistake? What if this doesn't quite... Maybe Gaelic Warrior is not actually the horse that people think he is. This is all about potential. I'm going to bet on Founder 50 at 7-1 with... we're getting 3 places, aren't we? Yeah, we're getting a fifth of the odds, 3 places. This is probably going to be a 7-runner race. And I can't knock him out of the frame with a mallet. I really can't. No. I'm way more concerned about Corbett's Cross than I am about Gaelic Warrior. And I like Gaelic Warrior a lot. But I don't think he's massively clear of this field at all. And Founder 50 just screaming at me. This is the back me, please.
You'd have to say he has the best chance of finishing the race out of the top 3. That's not to say any of them have a bad chance of finishing it. But I'm just saying, if you had to say, £1 million to jump round safe, you'd rather I Founder 50 than Corbett's Cross or Gaelic Warrior.
I'd probably just cash out for $500,000 and walk away with the money, but yeah, I would take Founder 50 to be the one to get round over Gaelic Warrior. Q Founder 50 tumbles at the first fence and we all look like fools.
Yeah.
Corbett's Cross for Katie. It's definitely Founder 50 for me. And George, you're with me?
Yeah. I think Gaelic Warrior is an unbackable price. I'd probably be taking Founder 50 each way though. Like you say, with the 3 places.
That is us taking on Facile Vega and Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah.
Have we completely lost our minds? Have we completely lost our minds, or are we actually talking some sense here? The Neville Hotels Novice Chase. By the way, Neville Hotels, Ireland's finest hotel group. Make sure when you're booking your next stay in the Republic of Ireland that you stay in a Neville Hotels hotel. Grade 1 experience all the time. Hello, Trace. Hello, Cathal. Their family owns the Neville Hotels Group, and Trace will be there handing over the trophy to the winning connections. Question is, Katie Young, who will be getting the prize?
I think I put it down to 2 horses for me. I think Classical Dream is the one they all have to beat if he does turn up here. I think he sets the standards here. He's 7-time Grade 1 winner. He is late to Chasing Game, but we know Willie has been successful with similar types to this, Faugheen, to mention one. He's notched up a few wins at Leopardstown, so we know he has track form. And I think he was pretty dominant over the 3-mile trip over hurdles. So obviously that's going to be no problem to him. I thought his jumping was pretty much foot perfect on debut. Never really missed a beat. I know the race probably wasn't as strong in depth as you'd like, but look, you can only beat what's put in front of you. So he will have to step up from that. But I just think on the basis of his jumping and how good he was over hurdles, if he can transfer that form defence, I think he's going to be really hard to beat. I'd be surprised if they travelled over to Kempton with him. I don't think he is, as George mentioned earlier, he is as effective when he travels. I think they'd be better off keeping this fella at home for Leopardstown. But a horse that I'd probably take him on with would be Flooring Porter. I think he might be a little bit more value for money. I think he has a little bit of class about him still. I know you could kind of draw a line through his last run at Punchestown. Like, nothing went his way on the day. The loose horse did him no favours. He kind of threw his race away early doors. And I was actually quite impressed with how close he did finish in the end. I think he was only beaten 15 lengths and he looked horrendous the whole way around. Like, there was nothing good about the way he ran, and he still finished third. So I think that is a big positive there. I think there's more improvement to come. He's obviously going background, left-handed. We know that Leopardstown suits him. But look, his form has been franked by Broadway Boy last weekend. You have to keep that in mind. He was quite an impressive winner last week, and Flooring Porter beat him easily. I don't think he even came off the bridle, really. So that is kind of standing out in my mind there. I think if you draw a line through his last run and you go back to the basis of his debut chase, Cheltenham, I think you have to put him bang there. I know he takes chances at his fences and that, but I'd be willing to take a chance on him back going left-handed, and just on the back of how his form is working out, I think we may see a different horse going back to the way he likes to go.
Yeah, he was unrideable the last day. It was a complete. I understand what they were trying to do, and fair play to Gavin Cromwell. He just said, "We're never doing that again." He had said after his chasing debut, where he beat Broadway Boy, that really the only option was to go back to Cheltenham, and they've tried it. They've tried something else, and they've tried and failed. So they're not going to do that again. 11 runs right-handed, 2 wins, 2 places. He won't be asked that question anymore. I think you make a really good point, and I wouldn't put anybody off him at all. I think he is the one. He is a very, very interesting runner. I'm pretty sure the winner is going to come from that race at Naas, or Punchestown, I should say, but it's the winner of it. Gordon Elliott has won this 5 times in the last 10 years, all for Gigginstown. He's going to win it again. Oh, you're getting the thumbs up now, George. It's moved. It's moved from me to you.
Oh,
it's
really?
Just mysteriously now, and George, yeah, you're after getting the big thumbs up bubble. I'm very, very keen on Faugheen de Chambeau. He was really good over hurdles at the Limerick Christmas meeting last year. Ground shouldn't be an issue for him at all. Stays, jumped brilliantly the last day. And this is another scumbag each way bet. This is really Il Était Temps, Found de 50, Hermes Allen, and Faugheen de Chambeau is one of the biggest lucky 15s or ever have done so far. And it's an each way scumbag account closer lucky 15. This is such a scummy each way bet. I've got to go around to betting shops to do it. Because I'd rather be kicked out of the betting shops and banned from going in there, which won't happen, by the way. These are great ones. But the accounts, they would close your account online. 100% they would. I'm pretty disgustingly bullish about this, which means it'll probably fail spectacularly. George, who are you with?
This is the one of Grange Clare West's engagements that he's shortest for, which is why I'd probably take an interest in him no matter where he shows up. But like, so he's looked massively improved over fences. So I'm trying not to just hash over what Katie said already. But I really liked his chasing debut. Like he jumped from fence to fence, looked proper son of presenting, just bowling along in front, eating fences. When I saw the fences route in the straight, I was like, well, he'll get done for toe here by a quicker horse now. And I tell you what, rather than kicking on into the straight, Paul Townend just sat up on him and let I can't remember who it was. Was it Hartwood?
Hartwood for Henry and Roberts crossing behind. Yeah,
he let Hartwood get to his girths and he kicked again. And that sort of says to me that horse has got more quality than just a 3-mile plodder from the front. Like he had a lot of faith in him that day. And so you said about that race already. Hartwood's finished second to Blood Destiny since. Corbett's Cross won since. Soda Flow finished 5th and has won since. So he was a bit inconsistent last year, but I think he had a big frame. Like he's presenting, like I said, and probably had a big frame to fill, and he looks like he's strengthened up. He needs to improve on his hurdles form to beat some of these, but the trip and him strengthening up might be what it's finally going to take for him to show everyone what he's capable of. He's a horse I really, really like, and I'll probably back him whichever race he goes for, but I probably marginally prefer to see him here.
I'm starting to think you're both going to persuade me to switch sides. I'm not getting off Favre de Chambeau, but I might do a smaller lucky 15 to compensate in case on this fella. That was a very impressive chasing debut. There's an awful lot to like about him. Doesn't it make more sense that he comes to this race and Classical Dream goes for the Kauto Star?
But that's on their prices. That's narrowly what they're doing at the minute. They're both very slightly shorter for those races, if that makes sense. Like literally like a point shorter. I think he's Grange Clare West. I think he's 6s for this and 7s for Kempton, and I can't remember Classical Dream, but he's shorter for Kempton than this. But
yeah, he's 5-2 for this, and I think he's 9-4 for Kempton.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Classical Dream. Yeah. So I would take everything on board. By the way, I completely agree with you. I'm not afraid of Classical Dream for Hermes Lane anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I would be in agreement with both of you about that. I think Favre de Chambeau is going to be really difficult to knock out of the frame. But Clare West at 13-2 is a big price. Katie?
I just think he wants a bit more cut in the ground. That'd be my only concern.
I think he might already want further than this.
Yeah. I just think he was difficult to keep right in Gordon's, and he always gave me the impression that he wants a bit of cut in the ground. I'd say, that'd be my only concern, that the ground might be a little bit too quick around Leopardstown for him, and the race might just unfold a little bit too quick for him.
Any particular reason why he's being kept to right-handed tracks with the exception of his trip to Cheltenham? Is there any indication that he's just better right-handed?
I don't necessarily. I think maybe it's just the way the racing has fallen. He ran. Is this for Voyage to Champ we're talking about? Yeah. He ran. No, I don't think so. I think it's just the way the races have fallen.
Okay.
He never gave me the impression of Gordon's that he wanted a certain track. He never gave it. He just gave me the impression that he wanted a bit of cut in the ground. That was the only kind of that's the only kind of thing I picked up from him, to be honest.
So if you're saying this ground might be a bit quick for him as well, like he's gonna feel how fast the ground is with Flooring Porter probably going very fast in front. Whether it's the case of he's a big horse and he's going to feel his legs a bit, or if it's just a pure pace angle, he could end up very on his head very early.
Yeah. There's a bit of rain forecast. There's a bit of rain forecast for Dublin later in the week, so it's currently soft ground. There's talk that's good to yielding. Like if it was that, I wouldn't. I'd have to jump ship then, as much as I like him. Again, I said earlier on, I'm inclined to flip flop. I'm being pulled. I am being pulled towards Grange Clare West. I love that chasing debut. Right now, Favre de Chambeau for me. but it wouldn't take a whole lot. Like if the ground is what you're saying, that would make me switch to Grange Clare West. And funnily enough, I would prefer him over Classical Dream. As much as I was really taking my Classical Dream's chasing debut, I'd be much more comfortable about Grange Clare West in this race than I would be about Classical Dream. Right, final selections. George.
Grange Clare West.
Katie.
I'm going to take a punt at Florian Porter if he's back to his best.
Yeah, Favre de Chambeau for me, but respect massively for Grange Clare West. By the way, I completely forgot something. If Imagine is not going to go for the Kauto Star Novice Chase, which it seems, why would he go now with Jerry Colomb not going over? Then 33-1 for the Faugheen is an embarrassingly big price.
He's a big price for all his other engagements still now. I think people obviously haven't latched on.
Yeah, they haven't copped on yet. And it's rare that they...
It's now.
Yeah, it's rare that they miss a trick like that. But you're getting 33-1 about a proper Gordon Elliott horse who's already better over fences than he was over hurdles. That's too big, in my humble opinion.